The family of this morning's guest has a long history in Horry County, from the courthouse to the State House. Meet Senator Luke Rankin, coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at McTaylor's Alterations and Boutique at 712 Main Street in Myrtle Beach, next door to the Black Tie Restaurant. We're focused on the state senate and service, and we're visiting with Myrtle Beach's state senator, Luke Rankin. Good morning.
Good morning.
Luke.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Are there any other state senators that have anything to do with Myrtle Beach? Or you?
I'm it. I'm it.
Yeah. Myrtle Beach, Conway.
Myrtle Beach, Carolina Forest, Conway. It extends. It's a pretty tight area with all the growth that we've had here in the Myrtle Beach area. Across the waterway into Carolina Forest and into and around Conway.
Some area you know very well.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That you know very well. I hope you all had a big both Christmas and New Year's celebration, Luke.
Everything's about cleaned up. Still finding Christmas tree needles everywhere, but yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Almost there.
Chuck Stokes was with us yesterday, and to hear him talk about, obviously, the joys of y'all's nice Christmas party.
Yeah.
He shared some of that off camera, but y'all are neighbors.
That's right. We're 3 down from each other, and we have an annual block party. Everybody on our street comes to a particular house, and I was reminded this year that last year I volunteered my house. And so it was at my house this go.
You had a great one. That's great.
Yeah.
I hope you all had a big celebration. And what a big year. Now the the last year of your 4th term.
That's right.
15 years you've completed, now joining your 16th year in the South Carolina State Senate. Can you just pinch yourself every once in a while?
I keep up with it in miles. More miles per car, not hopefully on me, but it's amazing how quickly this has been. I recall us sitting at the Myrtle Square Mall office where the Myrtle Beach Herald was at that time, and we did an interview there. That may have been 4 or 8 years ago.
Oh, I wish it was. I just bought it 4 years ago.
Well,
that's right.
It may seem like 8. It's flown by.
It is amazing, Luke, to think about how time flies, and obviously about the growth in the area, and to think for you, and you grew up, share with viewers, of course, as you know, the bulk of our viewers are in the PD.
Right, well,
in southeastern North Carolina, but they've been seeing you, I'm sure, and hearing from you for years.
I am a product of Conway, grew up there, and all my sins or ghosts of my past are buried mostly there. There's lots of little areas that we played as kids.
I love it.
I'm a product of this area, and my parents obviously were from here. My mother was from Anderson, but my father was from Allsbrook, which is on the way to Loris, the real pretty white house that wasn't that pretty or nice when he was growing up, to hear him say it. But he is one of 5 brothers, Rankins.
Wow.
They are, and they were educators and farmers, and my father had the good sense, thankfully for me, to get out of the farm and get into the law books.
And he's the only one who opened a law book.
He's the only one, and he figured he couldn't make anything out of the dirt, and he's proven that still. He has no green thumb.
Yeah, he did not have the
I don't either.
That didn't pass on to you.
No,
hold him up. That's right, That's amazing. That's amazing. So you followed in his footsteps.
Followed in his footsteps. He built a practice, built an office in Conway, right on the corner of Beatty and 2nd Avenue.
Great location.
That he moved in about 3 months before I was born, and we've just gone through a renovation of that, put a 2000 touch on it, or hopefully a little more advanced. And, but he paved the way, and I'm blessed to have followed in his footsteps. Not literally, but he was a judge, and he's retired now. And, he was a county judge, which was the precursor to a circuit judge. And he was a special circuit judge later, and then got back into the practice.
Now, do you have brothers and sisters, Luke?
I'm the last of 4.
Is that right?
2 girls, 1 boy, and me.
Any of them in the law?
None of them.
Obviously, it's Rankin and Rankin. I guess that's you and your dad.
Father of counsel. In fact, he really retired in the 90s, fully in the 90s. But I told him,
Don't you step away.
It's going to be Rankin. Rankin says, you don't need me. You don't need me because I'm not going to be here. I said, I need you, and I'm going to put your name on there. So it's there, but he is of counsel.
Right. So you were essentially a solo practitioner.
Right.
Wow. What's that like?
Well, it's fun. It's challenging. I have 3 great assistants. Johnny Allen's wife, Rachel, Niecy Smith, and Carrie Johnson. All are great folks who can help manage me and help me manage our practice. So I've been blessed with good results and great clients and the right type cases.
And your location there in Conway, right across from what's now the big judicial center there, I mean, really a tremendous location, very easy to find. You have folks just pop in every once in a while?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, and again, the vision of my father locating there.
Right, across from the former courthouse.
Right
and now
beside
across
the old, in front of the new.
Right.
And so it's an ideal location. We get all kind of folks that pop in and visit. So.
Probably some still looking for your dad, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
oh, yeah.
Definitely so.
Yeah. That's exciting, Luke. That opportunity, of course, of practicing with you. Was your mother in the law as well?
Well, only supporting my father.
Right.
In his later years of work, when he was winding it down, she would do some secretarial work.
Right.
And it's interesting to look at the books or look at some of the correspondence. She did not grow up to be a secretary and did it more maybe as a labor of love, not something, no passion of wanting
and she
to do
shares that openly now, and you can tell,
yeah.
That's great. That's great, Luke. Well, of course, you've made now Myrtle Beach home, and so the ability to connect, as we talked about with Chuck yesterday, I mean, the ability to connect both the ties from Myrtle and the longer ties to Conway.
Well, and when I first ran in '92, there was this sense that was palpable of a divide between Myrtle and Conway, and a sense of some folks having different values or different mindsets from one or the other side of the waterway, when in fact we're joined. And as time has gone and we have grown, if ever there was a line of demarcation attitude-wise or mindset-wise, it clearly doesn't exist now. And it was a fiction before. But we have grown tremendously, as you know, in the area.
Is there a difference between, I mean, is there even a gap between the two anymore?
Well, it used to be the longest ride when I was a kid from Conway to Myrtle with just the barren land of pines. And now, if you find a stand of pine trees, it's more the exception than the rule. But it's an incredible, and we're so blessed here with folks wanting to come down here. They vacation, they golf, and they kind of buy into and get sold on the area. The folks are happy, they're nice. We have 4 distinct seasons. We've got a good business environment, good business climate, retirement climate, from a taxing standpoint as well as the weather. So it's a great place to come, and they stay, and then they become residents.
Absolutely, and a great environment to raise children.
Right,
a boy and a girl.
Well, we share that as well.
That's right.
Emma
so
Claire
Emma Claire
is a little younger. I think Hollings is 7 now, and Luke is 10.
5,
but we are. It's a great place, and we celebrated Christmas. Luke's in the 4th grade. Hollings is in the 1st grade.
Oh, wow.
He has, or rather, she has his same 1st grade teacher.
No. Oh, great.
And it's just been a cool thing. Already in the 4th grade, I can tell you, the homework's getting harder.
I'm step back.
They don't have a calculator yet for me that can figure out what he's doing in the 4th grade.
I love it, Luke. I love it. You were on the road a good bit. You highlighted those miles, and of course, the ability to both be active in your kid's life, but at the same time be active in supporting us, or representing not only the citizens of this area, but the citizens of our entire state. I mean, even though you're serving as I think you talked about off camera, a 90-some thousand person district, you are still representing everybody.
Well, it is a local seat, obviously, but we serve in Columbia. We're there January through June, the first full week Tuesday in January through the first Thursday in June, 3 days a week. I'm on the road. I sometimes come back on a Tuesday and go back up on a Wednesday, but typically we're up there 3 days a week. And but you're voting on laws that affect the state, not just a local city or county. So you have to have a state perspective. Obviously, we in Horry and the Grand Strand area, the #1 tourism destination, not only in the state, but in the country, in the
Right.
top 2 or 3.
Oh, yeah.
We are the generator of lots and lots that this state is benefiting from. So
how does that work? Could you just give viewers just a sense, give us all, give me a sense of exactly, just if you were an elevator speech, even if it's a 90-story elevator, I mean, how would you break that down? Why are we the cash cow? Wayne Gray was with us a couple weeks ago talking about the presidential debates and some other things, and he highlighted, he used those 2 words. We hear them all the time, but how does that translate, cash cow?
Cash cow in the sense of accommodations taxes,
yeah, okay.
sales taxes, business activity here, miles of or gas sold. Those 3 areas are where you see the impact of tourism. Mm-hmm. And what used to be the manufacturing might of South Carolina,
right.
the leading industry, longer before still the agricultural might,
right.
now it's tourism. And you cannot dispute the generation of more dollars from this industry than from the other 2 previous top industries. Mm-hmm. So we are, again, a state perspective, but we're trying to build what we're doing not only for ourselves, but for our state. We've just recently, in last year's session, created a matching fund for proactive businesses to get more money for marketing. And
right.
Horry County, the Myrtle Beach, Grand Strand area has beaten out everybody, and we are maxing out on the benefit
right.
with a 10-fold impact on a dollar spent on marketing with the return
right.
that we're getting down here. So
I saw the great check presentation. Thank you. I know you were involved helping to shepherd that, Chad Prosser and many others that recognize, and obviously, as you highlight, the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce and the many folks in the marketing co-op group that go really working hard to raise the funds so they can get the $5 million
right.
matching piece
right.
there.
And that's a good example, and just another example, the most recent example of this area pulling together and making a proactive statement. We did it on the roads in terms of our taxing ourselves. We had the first approved infrastructure bank board project, RIDE, that gave us all these roads, and we were the first out of the chute, got the Conway Bypass built,
oh, yeah.
Carolina Bays Parkway, Grissom, so many, 544 expansion, 707, and so many, again, areas that have benefited from us being proactive.
And you were the first on the board?
First on that board.
That's tremendous. Thank you for going to bat for us,
I was blessed to have the relationship with the then chairman of the Finance Committee, John Drummond, who said yes to me when I kept pestering him to let me get there. So likewise now we have the good relationship with Hugh Leatherman, Finance Committee Chairman from Florence, who is, though it doesn't seem it in some eyes, is always there and has never told me no, because he sees the impact that our area is producing to the state.
Sure, very definitely. You know, we think about it, there's so many things. That last Friday, Billy Witherspoon was with us, Luke, and of course he highlighted his one service on one committee, obviously a very active one, very key and important role, but he highlighted that you and Yancey and Dick and Ray are serving on multiple committees. Share with viewers what's that like, having to wear lots of different hats, and which of the committees you're on.
Well, the key, most active committee, demanding in time-wise, is the Judiciary Committee.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, there's so many laws that are proposed, and either they go to Finance or they go to Judiciary. Banking and insurance is an important one. Transportation, obviously, is important. Education would be probably second in the demand of time. Now, I'm participating in 2 study committees in the off season, or we just finished those last year, up really through 07, through the end of December. But those 4 are the primary committees that I serve on. And you're juggling lots of different things, and you're trying to absorb and read and study and be prepared for a vote, and vote hopefully correctly. So it requires a lot of time, and if only I had a driver where I could actually read safely in the car.
That's something you may want to think about.
Well,
so that was probably a good Christmas present to ask for.
Well, I don't know who what Santa I'd talk to about that one. But anyway.
Just rush Luke and Hollings along to get 16. So
no, gosh, no. Let's keep that sand of that hourglass.
I'm
stopped
sorry. That's right. Maybe just Yeah, how could we make that happen? That's a good wish for '08.
Yeah.
That's a good wish for '08. You know, there's so much that has to happen up there, and you highlight a typical day for you, Luke. Obviously, you highlighted sometimes you'll come back on a Tuesday, but you're surely up there on Wednesday nights. What's let's say a typical Wednesday, and next week is the first full week, well, so it'll be you'll be heading up on Tuesday.
We'll have a very busy Tuesday when we select committees again.
Right.
It's a new session. It's a 2-year session, but you come in, you'll select your seat, you'll select your committees based on seniority, and spend a lot of time in kind of a housekeeping type mode.
Right.
Committees really won't start until the following week or 2 weeks beyond. But a typical day is you get up there at either 11, you'll have a caucus meeting before.
When you say caucus
the Republican caucus, they meet before the Senate, kind of lay out for the week what the game plan is and things that we want to try to accomplish or move along, and we vet things throughout that process. Likewise, the Democrats, they meet, they have their caucus, but you'll come to the floor around noon, and then you'll meet for a while. Then Judiciary will start at 2, and then you'll maybe go 2 hours with that. Then there'll be some type of a reception, some good to see you, how you doing, how's your mama kind of thing.
Right.
And there are lots of those, and it's always good to see them and to find out that their mama's doing good. But after a while, those run kind of quickly, and there's lots of those that you can go to. The next morning there'll be some type of a early morning breakfast reception. Then education typically meets on Wednesday mornings. And you'll go through the morning until you meet in session at 2, and the day continues. And you do it another day. Right.
Probably a lot of school trips coming over to see what. Do folks travel from all over the state? Is it principally there in the Midlands?
No, they come from all over. And you hit a highlight of mine, and that's any school from my area. I love for them to come because it is such a cool thing.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's a great place. The State House is your house. It's everyone's house. But the kids' eyes, when they see the beautiful design in there, and it was refurbished about 3 years or 4 years ago.
Is that right? Good.
It is so impressive, and I urge anybody who has opportunity to come up there and walk around and look.
Good. But of course, they talk to their teachers or otherwise, but even normal citizenry, you want everyone to come up.
Y'all come here is what I tell people. But it is a beautiful place. But the kids particularly light up when they get the little history film that they see, and they get to see where the Union's cannon fire hit the outside of the State House, and they've got the stars that show the cannonball impact areas where the stone might be chipped.
Right.
It's really a neat place. And kids love it, and I really
Hollings
dote
and
over
Luke have been up there quite a few times, I'm sure.
Yeah, Luke has been. Hollings will come hopefully this year for her first time with the group. Now, I've taken them. They've done kind of like me and Conway, gone places where they shouldn't have gone.
We won't touch that on camera.
We have permission.
Early Friday morning, of course. I'm kidding. Yeah, you know, we think about, obviously, there's so many things to highlight on service on those different committees. When you think for yourself, you highlighted surely Judiciary, very time-consuming, Education, very time-consuming. Is there anything that you've really gotten into? I know you talked about RIDE and the Infrastructure Bank early on. I think I saw you gotten active in helping, was it the Santee Cooper Board? There was some piece there.
A big piece there, and that was when there was an effort from some in Columbia. Unfortunately, the governor had an agenda to privatize Santee Cooper, which was totally the wrong idea. And
you told him that.
Well, I told him that, and we demonstrated it with public hearings, and there was a fruit basket turnover of the board, ultimately with the plan to have the votes to sell Santee Cooper. And we had public hearings. We found confidential emails to the investment community in New York asking how to privatize. And so that gave me a springboard with the Judiciary Committee to ultimately now chair a committee that screens the would-be applicants that the governor offers for service on the Santee Cooper Board. And the Senate and the House, I mean, they were overwhelmingly in support of what we did against the effort to sell and to turn over the board. And the largest veto override in the history, I think, at that point, there were 2 or 3 votes to sustain the governor's veto of our bill But there are 170, there were 167 who voted to keep Santee Cooper as it is.
Right.
But that's just another example. Insurance,
Sure.
coastal property insurance.
Oh, yeah. Look,
we've
share with viewers the significance of some of the recent impact of that. Sure.
And again, a little bit more stuff going on that shouldn't have been going on, a little bit of politicking that should have been handled a little bit differently. It's more in a business fashion. But we had hearings down here. Lots and lots of your viewers showed up protesting what was going on. We had the then appointed insurance commissioner and director, Eleanor Kitzman, testify to us that she had a plan and that plan needed to be adopted, and she had the support of what's called the WIN Pool, the South Carolina Guarantee Association.
Right.
Well, that plan got kind of like the line of a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. Nothing happened from August until she was removed without any explanation in February, and then finally, last session, we were able to get legislation passed that didn't see that authority just in the governor or his appointee, but put the legislature in, and we've stabilized the rates, and we're hoping that we'll have even more reduction in the property and casualty premiums that our coastal property owners are paying.
Well, this impacts really all citizenry here in Horry and Georgetown, and of course even in adjacent states. I mean, you think about the impact in Brunswick and other areas, but in Horry and Georgetown, it was a day we were filming with Ray Cleary down in Murrells Inlet, and I had just gotten a notice that my insurance had been canceled in Murrells Inlet. I thought, my Lord, what about it? And of course, he highlighted some fascinating issues that day. Dick Elliott was with us a couple months ago and highlighting the impact. And of course, for you here in Myrtle, you're right between those two.
Right.
The impact is wide for everyone. That's when Democrats and Republicans clearly get together to take on, much like the Santee Cooper issue, that folks work together for the right.
And we did. In fact, we passed a pretty major bill this past session last year that puts us in great stead. And we were told, experts at that time, that that was what we needed to do, but we are looking at more areas. For example, if someone builds a more weather-resistant home, they should get a premium discount. Florida allows that. If you build a smart house, it used to be energy efficiency. Santee Cooper uses that smart house concept, I believe.
Sure.
From an insurance standpoint, on the structural integrity of a home, you ought to get credit if you do things above and beyond just a local building code that would minimize or totally reduce any payout that insurance carrier would have to make in the event of a calamity. So there are lots of things we're looking at to kind of improve this situation.
Right.
Hopefully that'll pass as well.
Luke, time is flying. We've just got a couple of minutes. Just trying to think through that aspect for you as you look into 2008. If you had a Nostradamus, if you had a crystal ball there, anything that folks need to be thinking about a lot, any you want people to call on you, obviously, about any particular issues that you know are impacting everyone in your district and throughout this area.
Well, and certainly call. I'm accessible, try to be as accessible as I can, and if you call me, if you hadn't gotten a call back soon, that's a problem for me. So if folks call and say they didn't get a call back, I don't have a number to call you back.
That 803 number up in Columbia is the best number to call?
212-6132.
212-6132.
My law office is 248-2405.
That's excellent. Good for you giving us your law office number. A lot of folks, 248-2405 or 803-212-6132. Great.
I think the key here and the hope is that we continue as a county delegation to advance our cause. And our cause is not just the local needs, but again, the #1 tourism destination, the #1 cash generator. We as a team, our delegation, have got to continue pushing our agenda, which is not always embraced by some folks in the upstate or other parts, but more and more the relationships that we've built have put us in a position to deliver. And I hope that we will have had a good year the next time I come back. Hopefully it won't be the end of 2008, but hopefully we will have good things to report, and folks' lives will be improved in the sense of, again, a business standpoint, a taxing standpoint, quality of life, education, etc.
And the delegation works well together. Obviously, Billy talked about NISA, which is a little more than just ORE, I mean the 9-county delegation, but the Horry County's working well together.
We've got a good relationship.
Right.
There are no peacocks in our group. We all have to get a little out there on various things, but I think we recognize that each of us have a unique attribute.
Right.
Not necessarily mine would be Billy's. I don't serve on agriculture.
Right.
But he's perfect,
Oh, yeah.
perfectly fitted for that, being a Clemson Extension agent for
Right.
so long. But we all complement each other, I think, and that's, I believe, why we've had the success that we've had thus far.
The biggest driver for you, Luke, what keeps you going and wanting to stay up there and continue to represent us?
It's a strange thing. Either it's a warped sense of ego that I like to be sitting here being interviewed in a healthy way or an unhealthy way, or it is a genuine sense of getting, as my preacher said, Luke, you get a buzz from this, and it's making a difference. It's having an impact, hopefully making good things happen or keeping bad things from happening.
Good for you.
Because you play just as much offense as you do defense.
You know it as a daddy when you're moving that cup away
That's
from
right.
his elbow. Thanks so much
That's
for being
right.
with us this morning,
God
Luke.
bless you. Thank you, too.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Senator Luke Rankin of District 33 coming up next. Try to pull a little scintilla out of every great interview, and of course this is a great one, the 2015-10, celebrating 20 years of having practiced the law, 15 full years in the state Senate, going into his 16th year next week. And of course, 2 weeks from today, he'll be celebrating 10 years as a dad. A real celebration there of his first child, his second one not long after that, Hollings. A big 15, 10, and 20-year celebration there. Of course, 248-2405. How many folks give their number and say, give me a call? I want to hear from you. You heard it, 248-2405. Luke Rankin.